The huge space station floated high above the swirling clouds of the gas giant Vexara. Its name was Academy Prime, a place where warriors from many alien species came to train. The most feared course here was called Deathworld Survival. It was not a game. It was real danger made to look like a test. The goal was simple: survive what a real Deathworld would throw at you. Crushing gravity, poison air, hungry beasts, burning heat, freezing cold, things that killed most creatures in minutes. On the first day of the new class, the training hall was full of noise. Heavy boots walked on metal floors. Scales scraped. Claws clicked. Wings flapped once or twice. Aliens of every shape stood in straight lines. Some were tall like trees with thick green skin. Others had hard shells like insects. A few had soft fur and long tails. They all looked strong. They all looked ready. At the very end of the line stood two small figures. They looked out of place. No scales, no claws, no extra arms or thick fur. Just two humans, one man and one woman. The man was Kim Ji-hoon. He had short black hair and calm dark eyes. His body was not big, but it looked solid from years of hard work. He stood straight, hands behind his back, watching everything without fear. Next to him was Park Soo-min. She was shorter than Ji-hoon. Her hair was tied in a tight ponytail. She had sharp eyes and a small smile that never quite went away, even when others looked angry or scared. She kept her arms crossed, like she was already bored. A loud voice cut through the room. Silence! Everyone stopped moving. Instructor Zorath stepped forward. He was a Varkon, one of the strongest species in the galaxy for this kind of training. His body was covered in black scales that shone like wet stone. His shoulders were wider than most doors. His tail ended in a sharp spike. His yellow eyes glowed as he looked down at the line of recruits. Zorath walked slowly along the row. He stopped in front of each trainee, studied them, then moved on. When he reached the two humans, he stopped longer. Names, he said. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. Kim Ji-hoon, the man answered clearly. Park Soo-min, the woman said right after, still smiling a little. Zorath tilted his head. His mandibles clicked once, a sound that meant he was not happy. Humans, he said slowly, like the word tasted bad. I have read the files. Your world is soft. Your bodies break easily. No natural armor, no venom, no thick hide. Gravity on your planet is weak. Air is clean. Food is easy to find. You are not made for death worlds. He leaned closer. His breath smelled like hot metal. This course is not kind. It will push you until something inside you breaks. Most of my kind, Varkon, lose team members every cycle. Stronger species than yours quit on day one. You two will not last the morning. I suggest you leave now. Save the medics time. Save yourself pain. The other trainees turned their heads slightly. Some smiled. Some made low laughing sounds. A big Lyran with brown fur whispered to the Varkon next to him, "They look like snacks." Ji-hoon did not blink. He kept looking straight at Zorath. "We are staying," he said. His voice was quiet but firm. Soo-min gave a short laugh. "Yeah, we didn't come all this way to quit before it starts." Zorath stared at them for a long moment. His tail moved once, slowly, like he was thinking. "Very well," he finally said. "But hear this clearly. When your suits tear, when your lungs burn, when your bones crack, when you beg for the evacuation shuttle, I will not feel sorry. You were warned." He turned away and walked to the front of the hall again. "Listen, all of you. Today we begin with gravity hell. The chamber will change weight from light to 4 times your normal pull. Random. No warning. Acid mist will burn your skin if you stay still too long. The floor will shake like an earthquake. You will move, Carry loads, climb, crawl, and breathe poison air. Anyone who taps out loses their place. Anyone who dies, well, we try not to let that happen. But it has happened before. He pointed to a huge round door at the far wall. Enter when I call your group. First group, now. 10 trainees stepped forward. They were all big species. No humans in that group. Ji-hoon and Soo-min watched them go inside. The door closed with a loud hiss. A few minutes later, screams came through the speakers. Not human screams, alien screams. Deep roars turned into high cries of pain. Then silence. The door opened again. Only 6 came out. Medics in white suits ran in to pull them out on stretchers. Zorath did not look surprised. Next group. More went in, more came out hurt or broken. Finally, Zorath looked at the last small group. It included the 2 humans, 2 Varkon trainees named Kale and Rin, and 1 insect-like Zarid. You, Zorath said, pointing at Ji-hoon and Soo-min. I expect you to tap out in the first 5 minutes. Do not disappoint me. Soo-min rolled her eyes. We'll try not to bore you. Ji-hoon said nothing. He just adjusted the straps on his training suit and stepped toward the door. Inside the gravity hell chamber, red lights glowed. The air already smelled sharp, like chemicals. The floor was wide and empty except for metal bars, ropes, and heavy boxes that recruits had to move. The door sealed behind them. A robotic voice spoke. Gravity simulation begins. Good luck. At first, everything felt light, easy. Then gravity slammed down hard. Everyone dropped to their knees except the Varkon. Kale and Rin laughed and stood up fast. Like home, Kale shouted. But then gravity jumped again. Up, down, sideways. The floor shook. Mist sprayed from the walls, stinging eyes and skin. The Zarid clicked in panic and tried to climb a wall. His leg slipped. He fell hard. Ji-hoon felt the weight push on his chest like a giant hand. His legs burned. But he remembered the secret training back on Earth. Months in high-gravity rooms. Running with heavy packs. Holding breath in smoke-filled boxes. He bent his knees, kept his back straight, and breathed slow. Soo-min did the same. She grabbed a metal bar and pulled herself forward, step by step. Kale looked back and laughed again. Look at the little ones, already shaking. He turned to lift a heavy box. The gravity spiked to 4 times normal. Even Kale grunted. The box slipped from his hands and crashed down. Ji-hoon moved past him. He took a rope, tied it around his waist, and started climbing a wall that was now almost vertical because of the shifting gravity. Soo-min followed. She moved quick and quiet. The acid mist grew thicker. It burned small holes in the Zarid's shell. He tapped his wristband. Evacuate me, he shouted. A hatch opened. He crawled out. Kale and Rin were still strong, but sweat poured off their scales. They growled and pushed each other to keep going. Ji-hoon reached the top of the wall. He pulled a lever there. A platform moved. It gave them a new path. Soo-min joined him. Her hands were red from the rope, but she did not complain. The gravity dropped suddenly to almost 0. Everyone floated. Boxes drifted. Then it slammed back down. Kale hit the floor hard. He roared in pain. Rin tried to help him up. Ji-hoon and Soo-min used the moment of low gravity to jump forward. They landed running when it went heavy again. Minutes passed. Long minutes. The robotic voice spoke again. Time remaining. 10 minutes. Kale tapped out. His legs would not hold him anymore. Rin lasted a little longer. Then he tapped too. Only Ji-hoon and Soo-min were left moving. They carried one heavy box together. Their arms shook. Their breathing was loud in their helmets. The mist burned their suits. Small alarms beeped. Suit damage. They did not stop. Finally, the lights turned green. Simulation complete. The gravity went back to normal. Ji-hoon and Sumin stood in the middle of the chamber, breathing hard, covered in sweat, suits smoking a little. The door opened. Zorath stood there, looking at them. His yellow eyes were wide. He said nothing at first. Then, in a low voice, "You finished." Ji-hoon wiped his face. "Yes, sir." Sumin smiled, tired but real. "Told you we'd stay." Zorath's mandibles moved slowly. "This changes nothing," he said. "Tomorrow is worse. The Predator Gauntlet. Live animals. No safety fields. You will not survive that." Ji-hoon looked up at him. "We'll see." Zorath turned and walked away. Behind him, the other trainees who had watched on screens whispered to each other. The humans had passed day 1, and no one anticipated that. The next morning came fast. The recruits who survived gravity hell gathered again in the big training hall. Some still limped. Others had bandages on arms or legs. Kale and Rin, the two Varkon who had tapped out yesterday, looked angry. They stared at Kim Ji-hoon and Park Soo-min like the humans had cheated somehow. Instructor Zorath stood at the front. His black scales looked even darker under the bright lights. He held a tablet in one clawed hand and read from it in his rough voice. Day 2. The Predator Gauntlet. No holograms today. No safety fields. Real creatures. Engineered from real Deathworld DNA. Scaled down so they do not kill you instantly, but they will try. Very hard. He pointed to a long tunnel door on the side wall. 10 kilometers. Jungle simulation. Thick plants. Mud. Rivers of acid water. Hidden traps. Your only weapons are vibroblades, 1 each. No guns, no shields. Suits give basic protection, but they tear. Goal. Reach the other end alive. Time limit, 4 hours. Anyone who does not make it, we pull you out. Or we collect what is left. He looked straight at Ji-hoon and Sumin. Humans, yesterday was luck. Gravity is one thing. Predators are another. They smell fear. They hunt the weak. You are small. You are slow. You will be first to fall. Sumin raised one eyebrow. We'll see who falls first. Ji-hoon said nothing. He just checked his vibroblade. It was short, sharp, and hummed softly when he pressed the button. He clipped it to his belt. Zorath called groups again. First group went in. 10 big aliens. They marched into the tunnel like they owned it. The door closed. Sounds started right away. Growls, hisses, screams. Not long after, the emergency hatches opened. Medics dragged out 3 of them. One had deep claw marks across his chest. Another was covered in sticky green acid. The rest came out limping, but alive. More screams. More stretchers. Then it was the last group's turn. Ji-hoon, Sumin, Kale, Rin, and 3 others. A tall insect Zerid named Vex, a furry Lyran called Tor, and another Varkon trainee. Zorath stopped them before the door. Last warning, he said. Tap out now if you want to live. No shame in it. Kale laughed loud. I will finish this in half the time. These humans will be lunch. Ji-hoon looked at Sumin. She gave him a small nod. They stepped through the door together. Inside, the air was thick and hot. Tall fake trees blocked most of the light. Vines hung everywhere. The ground was soft mud mixed with sharp rocks. A low fog moved along the floor. Somewhere far away, something big roared. The group spread out a little. Kale and Rin took the lead. They crashed through plants like tanks. Vex clicked nervously behind them. Tor sniffed the air and growled low. Ji-hoon and Sumin stayed near the back. They moved quiet, eyes open, listening. The first attack came fast. A swarm of small flying things, venom drones, burst from the trees. They looked like insects the size of fists. Wings buzzed loud. Stingers glowed green. Kale swung his blade. He cut 2 down. Rin roared and smashed more with his tail. But the swarm was too many. One stung Tor in the neck. He screamed and dropped to his knees. Poison worked fast. His fur stood up, then he fell over shaking. Vex tried to run. The drones followed. He clicked in panic and tapped his wristband. Evacuate. A hatch opened in the ground. Arms pulled him down to safety. Kale and Rin kept fighting. They killed many, but more came. Kale got stung on the arm. He growled in pain, but did not stop. Ji-hoon pulled Sumin behind a thick tree. Wait, he whispered. They go for noise. They stayed still. The drones buzzed past them. They followed the loud Varkon instead. Kale and Rin were breathing hard. Their scales had small holes where stings hit. Acid venom smoked on their skin. Kale looked back. Where are the humans? Ji-hoon stepped out. Here. Sumin followed. You two okay? Rin laughed, but it sounded weak. We do not need help from softskins. They kept moving. Next came the hexapods. 6 legs, long bodies, mouths full of dripping acid. 3 of them waited on the path ahead. They hissed when they saw the group. Kale charged. I will take them. He jumped high and brought his blade down on the first one. The hexapod twisted fast. Its tail whipped around and hit Kale in the side. He flew into a tree and hit hard. His suit tore open. Blood came out. Rin ran to help. The second hexapod spat acid. It hit Rin's leg. Scales melted. He roared and fell. The third hexapod turned toward Ji-hoon and Sumin. Ji-hoon looked at Sumin. Together. She nodded. They did not charge. They moved to the sides. Ji-hoon picked up a broken branch and threw it at the hexapod's face. It turned to bite the branch. Sumin ran low and slid under it. She pushed her vibro blade up into its soft belly. The blade hummed. Green blood sprayed. The hexapod screamed and fell. Ji-hoon jumped on its back. He stabbed the neck joint twice. It stopped moving. They ran to Kale and Rin. Kale was trying to stand. His side bled a lot. Rin could not walk. His leg was black from acid. Ji-hoon looked around. We need to move. More will come. Sumin helped Rin up. She put his arm over her shoulder. Lean on me. Rin looked surprised. You are too small. Try me, she said. Ji-hoon helped Kale. The big Varkon was heavy, but Ji-hoon was strong. He took the weight. They moved slow now. The path was hard. Mud sucked at their boots. Vines grabbed at legs. A big roar came from the trees. Something huge moved. Branches broke. A stalker appeared. It was tall, 3 times Ji-hoon's height. Thick legs, jaws like metal traps, eyes glowed red. It was the apex predator of this simulation. Kale pushed away from Ji-hoon. Run, humans! I will hold it. No, Ji-hoon said. We all go. The stalker charged. Ji-hoon thought fast. He saw a narrow path between 2 big rocks. There, tight space. It cannot follow easy. They ran for it. The stalker was fast. It crashed through plants. Its jaws snapped close to Rin. Sumin turned. She threw a rock at its eyes. It hit one. The stalker roared and slowed for a second. They reached the rocks. The gap was small. Only one at a time could pass. Ji-hoon went first. He pulled Kale through. Then Sumin helped Rin. The stalker reached them, pushed its head into the gap. Teeth scraped rock. It tried to force through. Ji-hoon looked at Sumin. Distract it. She nodded. She ran to the side and shouted loud. Hey, over here, ugly! The stalker turned its head. Ji-hoon climbed a low rock. He jumped on its back. He drove his blade into the spot behind its neck where scales were thin. The blade went deep. The stalker screamed. It shook hard. Ji-hoon held on. He twisted the blade. The stalker fell to its knees. Ji-hoon jumped off. Su-min ran back. They pulled Rin and Kale farther away. The stalker did not get up. They kept going. Slow. Tired. Hurt. Hours passed. The jungle got darker. More small predators came. They fought them off. Ji-hoon and Su-min took turns helping the Varkon. Finally, they saw light ahead. The end of the tunnel. The beacon glowed green. They stepped out together. Medics waited. They took Kale and Rin right away. Ji-hoon and Su-min stood there, dirty, bloody, breathing hard. Zorath walked up. His eyes were wide again. "You brought them out," he said. "Both Varkon, alive." Ji-hoon wiped mud from his face. "They are part of the team." Su-min smiled, even though her lip was cut. "Told you, we don't leave people behind." Zorath looked at them for a long time. His mandibles moved slow. "3 more trials left," he said quietly. "This was only day 2. Ji-hoon met his eyes. "We know." Zorath turned away, but this time he did not laugh. He did not warn. He just walked. Behind him, the other trainees watched from the screens. No one laughed now. The humans had beaten the Predator Gauntlet, and they had saved 2 who hated them yesterday. The 3rd day started with silence in the training hall. Fewer recruits stood in line now. Many had quit after the Predator Gauntlet. Some were still in the medical bay, healing from cuts, burns, and broken bones. The ones who remained looked tired. Eyes were red. Bodies moved slow. But no one complained out loud. Instructor Zorath walked in front of them. His scales clicked softly with each step. He stopped and looked at the small group left. Only 5 now. Kim Ji-hoon, Park Su-min, Kale, Rin, and one other Varkon named Torv, who had joined late and somehow survived the first 2 days. Zorath held up his tablet. His voice was lower than before. Day 3. The Endurance Crucible. No weapons today. No paths to follow. No finish line you can see. You go into a sealed dome. Inside, changing temperatures from deep freeze to burning heat. Radiation pulses that make your skin feel like fire. Sonic waves that hurt your ears and head. Low oxygen, no food. Almost no water. You stay for 72 hours, or until you cannot stand anymore. He looked at each of them one by one. This is not about fighting. This is about lasting. Your body will scream to stop. Your mind will beg for rest. Most fail here, even Varkon. We have lost good trainees who thought they were strong enough. His yellow eyes stopped on Ji-hoon and Su-min. Humans, your kind needs more food, more water, more rest than most species. Your metabolism is fast. You burn energy quick. In 72 hours with nothing, you should collapse first. I give you 12 hours, maybe less. Su-min crossed her arms. You keep counting us out. It's getting old. Ji-hoon just nodded once. We're ready. Zorath's mandibles clicked. Enter. The 5 walked through a narrow door into the dome. It was big and round. The walls were smooth metal, no windows. The floor was hard and cold. In the center stood 5 small pillars. Each had a water tube and a food slot. But the slots were locked. The tubes would only give tiny drops every few hours, if the system decided you earned it. The door sealed with a heavy sound. Lights dimmed to a dull red. A voice from hidden speakers said, "Crucible begins. 72 hours. No evacuation unless you signal surrender. Good luck." At first, it was quiet. They sat on the floor. No one spoke much. Then the temperature dropped, fast, from warm to freezing in minutes. Breath turned to white clouds. Skin hurt from the cold. Fingers and toes went numb. Kale and Rin huddled together. Their thick scales helped a little. Torv did the same. They growled low to keep warm. Ji-hoon and Su-min sat close. They pressed their backs together. Shared body heat. Ji-hoon took off his outer jacket and put it around Sumin's shoulders. She did not argue. Like winter camping back home, Sumin said through chattering teeth. Ji-hoon gave a small smile. Worse, no fire. They stayed like that for hours. The cold got deeper. Ice formed on the walls. The Varkons started to slow. Their movements became stiff. Then the temperature flipped. Heat came sudden and hard, like stepping into an oven. Sweat poured out. Air burned lungs. Skin turned red. The Varkon panted. Their scales helped less against heat than cold. Kale ripped open his suit collar to breathe better. Ji-hoon and Sumin stripped down to undershirts. They found a spot near the floor vents where cooler air leaked a little. They took turns lying flat to cool their backs. Radiation pulses started next, invisible waves that made skin tingle, then burn. Small blisters formed, heads hurt, vision blurred for seconds at a time. Torv was the first to break. After 20 hours, he stood up, shaking. I cannot. I tap out. He pressed the button on his wrist. A small hatch opened in the floor. He crawled in, gone. Kale watched him go. Weak, he muttered, but his voice sounded tired. Rin leaned against the wall. His eyes were half closed. Ji-hoon and Sumin kept moving. Slow circles around the dome. Moving helped blood flow, kept them awake. They talked in low voices, about Earth, about food they missed, about stupid jokes to make each other laugh. Sumin told a story about a bad camping trip where it rained for 3 days. Ji-hoon laughed quietly. It helped. The sonic waves came every few hours, high-pitched sounds that drilled into ears, made teeth hurt, made thoughts fuzzy. Everyone covered their ears, but it did not stop. Kale roared once to fight the pain. Then he sat down hard. This is madness. Rin agreed with a grunt. Ji-hoon and Sumin sat back to back again. They closed their eyes during the worst waves, breathed slow, counted breaths to stay calm. Water drops came rarely, tiny amounts. They shared every drop, passed the tube between them. The Varkon did the same, but they needed more. 40 hours in, the dome went cold again, then hot, then cold, fast changes. Bodies could not adjust. Rin started shaking bad. His scales looked dull. I think I am done. He tapped out. Hatch opened. He left. Kale looked at the humans. For the first time, no anger in his eyes, just surprise. You two, still moving. Ji-hoon nodded. We have to. Sumin wiped sweat from her face. Stubborn, remember? Kale laughed once, a weak sound. Maybe you are not so soft. He lasted until hour 55. Then his legs gave out. He tapped the button. Finish it for me. Now only Ji-hoon and Sumin remained. The dome pushed harder. Temperature swings every 10 minutes. Radiation stronger. Sonic waves longer. Ji-hoon's ribs hurt from breathing hard air. Sumin's hands shook. Her suit had a small tear from earlier days. Cold air got in. Her legs started to go numb. At hour 68, her suit alarm beeped loud. Coolant leak. Frost spread inside. She tried to patch it, but fingers would not work right. Ji-hoon saw it. He knelt beside her. Let me. He used his own suit patch, sealed it as best he could. Then he sat close, put his arms around her, shared warmth. Stay with me, he said. Sumin nodded. Her teeth chattered. Not quitting now. They stood up together, walked slow circles, step by step, counting out loud to keep rhythm. Hours blurred. The speakers counted down. 10 hours remaining. Then 5. Then 1. Ji-hoon's vision swam. Sumin leaned on him heavy. But they kept moving. At hour 72 exactly, the lights turned bright white. Crucible complete. The temperature went normal. Air flowed clean. A door opened. They stepped out slow, legs like wood, bodies shaking. Medics waited with blankets and warm drinks. They wrapped them up, helped them sit. Zorath stood there, silent. His eyes moved from one to the other. Kale, Rin, and Torv were there too, bandaged, sitting on benches. They stared. No one spoke for a long minute. Zorath finally said, "You both still standing." Jihoon looked up, voice rough. "Yes, sir." Sumin managed a tired smile. "Told you." Zorath's tail moved once, slow. 2 trials left. The final ones are worse. Jihoon met his eyes. "We know." The instructor looked at them longer. Then he turned to the other trainees. "See this. 2 humans. No scales, no armor. They outlasted Varkon in the Crucible." He looked back at Jihoon and Sumin. "Rest now. Tomorrow, the breaking point." He walked away. Kale stood up slow. He walked to the humans, stopped in front of them. "You carried us in the gauntlet," he said. "You stayed here when we could not." He held out a clawed hand. Jihoon took it. Sumin did too. "Thank you," Kale said. Jihoon nodded. "Team." The hall was quiet. No laughs, no whispers. Everyone watched the 2 small humans who refused to break. And for the first time, the instructor did not warn them they would fail. The 4th day felt heavier than the others. The training hall looked almost empty now. Only a few benches had trainees sitting on them. Most had left, or were still recovering in medical pods. The air smelled like metal and sweat. Everyone moved slow, like their bodies remembered every pain from before. Kim Ji-hoon and Park Soo-min stood near the front. Their faces looked thinner. Dark circles sat under their eyes. But they stood straight. No shaking, no complaints. Kale and Rin were there too. They had bandages on arms and legs from the gauntlet. Their scales looked duller, but they held their heads high. They nodded once at the humans when they walked in. No words, just respect. Instructor Zorath entered last. He carried no tablet today, no list of warnings. He stopped in front of the small group and looked at them for a long time. "Day 4, he said. His voice was quieter than usual. "The breaking point. This is the last real test before graduation. No dome, no jungle, no beasts. Just you alone against the worst the simulation can make. Each of you goes into a private chamber, one at a time. The system reads your body. It knows your limits. Then it pushes exactly past them, over and over, until you break, or until you do not." He paused. "Most break. Minds crack before bodies sometimes. You see things that are not there. You hear voices telling you to quit. Pain becomes everything. The record for a Varkon is 41 hours. After that, they beg to leave." His yellow eyes moved to Jihoon and Sumin. "Humans, your brains are different. You feel fear deeper. You tire faster in some ways. But you also imagine. You hope. You remember why you fight. I do not know if that helps or kills you faster. I expect you to last 10 hours, maybe 12. Then the system will win." Sumin looked at him. "You keep saying expect. We keep proving you wrong." Jihoon added, "We go in, we come out. That's it." Zorath's tail moved once. "We start with the strongest first. Kale, then Rin, then the humans." Kale stepped forward. "I will set a new record." He walked to the first chamber door. It opened. He went in. The door closed. The others waited outside. A big screen showed vital signs. Heart rate, brainwaves, oxygen. No pictures, just numbers and lines. For the first 10 hours, Kale's lines stayed strong. Then they jumped. Heart raced. Brainwaves went wild. At hour 39, the lines flattened for a second, then spiked hard. A red light flashed. "Subject requests evacuation," the speaker said. The door opened. Medics pulled Kale out. He could not stand. His eyes looked empty. He did not speak. Rin went next. He lasted 36 hours. Then the same, shaking, begging, out. Now only the humans left. You still wish to try? Ji-hoon nodded. Su-min said, together or one by one? Separate chambers, Zorath answered. The system needs focus. One mind at a time. Ji-hoon went first. He stepped into the small room. It was plain. White walls. One chair in the center. No windows. The door sealed. Darkness came sudden. Then the simulation started. At first, pain. Sharp in his legs, like needles. Then in his arms, like fire. The system made his muscles cramp all at once. He sat in the chair, breathed slow, counted numbers in his head, 1 to 100. Again. Hours passed. Pain changed. Now it felt like his bones were breaking. One by one, slow. He screamed once, then bit his lip. No more sound. Voices started. His mother's voice. Come home, Ji-hoon. It's too much. His old trainer. You're not strong enough. Friends laughing. Humans can't do this. He closed his eyes. Thought of Earth. Real memories. Running in rain. Eating with family. Laughing with Su-min during training. Small things. Real things. The voices got louder. Then pictures appeared on the walls. Illusions. Su-min hurt, bleeding. Kale dead. The station exploding. Everything he cared about, gone. Ji-hoon opened his eyes. Not real, he whispered. Not real. He stood up, walked in circles, moved to keep blood flowing. Sang old songs under his breath. Korean words. Soft, steady. The system pushed harder. Gravity in the room increased, then decreased. Air thinned. His head spun. Vision went black at the edges. He fell to his knees. But he did not tap out. Outside, on the screen, his heart rate climbed high, then steadied. Brainwaves jumped like fire, then smoothed. Zorath watched, silent. 30 hours, 40, 50. Ji-hoon sat again. Sweat covered him. Body shook, but he breathed. In, out. At hour 61, the pain stopped, sudden. Everything went quiet. A voice spoke. Subject has reached maximum calibrated stress. Continuing at level 10. Ji-hoon laughed once. Weak. That all? He stood up again. The door opened at hour 72. He stepped out. Legs wobbled, but he walked on his own. Medics rushed to him. He waved them off. I'm okay. Su-min waited. She looked at him, saw the sweat, the pale face, the small smile. Your turn, he said. She nodded. Watch me beat your time. She went in. Her chamber started the same. Pain first, deep in her chest, like something squeezing her heart. She sat, closed her eyes, thought of home, soul streets, food stalls, friends, Ji-hoon's quiet jokes. Voices came. Her sister. You're too weak. Old teachers. Quit while you can. Then worse. Ji-hoon's voice saying, I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving you. She opened her eyes fast. Liar, she said to the empty room. Did small exercises. Squats. Arm circles. Kept moving. Illusions came. Her body breaking. Bones showing through skin. Blood everywhere. She looked down. Saw nothing wrong. Fake, she said. She sang too. Loud sometimes, to drown the voices. The system turned up everything. Heat, cold, pressure. Sounds like glass breaking inside her head. She fell once, hit the floor, got up slow. Hours ticked by. Outside, her lines on the screen went crazy. Then calm, then crazy again. Zorath stared. His mandibles did not move. At hour 73, Su-min's chamber door opened. She stepped out, hair wet with sweat, eyes bright. She limped a little, but she grinned at Ji-hoon. Told you, she said. Ji-hoon helped her sit. They leaned on each other. Zorath walked over slow. He looked down at them. Two small humans, broken, but not broken. You both passed the breaking point, he said. 72 hours, beyond any Varkon record. Kale and Rin, sitting nearby, looked up. Their faces showed shock, then something like pride. Zorath continued. The system could find no more to throw at you. It ended because it had nothing left. He paused. I have taught this course for 30 cycles. I have seen thousands break. I have never seen this. Ji-hoon looked up. We didn't break because we didn't want to. Sumin added, and because we had each other, even in separate rooms. Zorath's tail dropped, not in anger, in something close to wonder. Tomorrow is the final assembly, graduation. But first, rest. You have earned it. He turned to leave, then stopped. One more thing, he said without looking back. I was wrong, from the start. He walked out. Ji-hoon and Sumin sat there, quiet, tired, alive. Kale came over. He knelt so his face was level with theirs. You are not soft. You are the strongest I have seen. Rin nodded behind him. Ji-hoon smiled small. Thanks. Sumin laughed tired. Took you long enough to notice. The hall lights dimmed for night cycle. Tomorrow would be the end. But for now, the two humans rested. They had beaten the breaking point, and the instructor finally knew what humans really were. The final morning arrived quiet and bright. The big assembly hall on Academy Prime was full for the first time in weeks. Lights shone strong on the polished floor. Rows of seats held aliens from many species, Varkon soldiers, Lyran scouts, Zarid engineers, even a few rare visitors from far systems. They all came to see the end of this cycle's Deathworld survival course. No one whispered or laughed anymore. The hall felt serious. Everyone knew what had happened. Word spread fast through the station. Two humans, small, no armor, no claws. They had beaten every test. They had outlasted the strongest Varkon. They had saved others. They had refused to break. Kim Ji-hoon and Park Soo-min stood at the side of the stage. They wore clean training suits now. No more dirt, no more blood. But their faces still showed the cost. Small scars on hands, tired eyes, straight backs. They did not smile big, just small, calm looks. Kale, Rin, and a few other survivors stood nearby. They had healed enough to walk without help. Their scales shone again. They kept glancing at the humans, not with anger, with something new. Instructor Zorath stepped onto the platform. He wore his full officer armor today. Black scales polished, medals on his chest. His tail stayed still. No clicking mandibles, no loud voice. He looked out at the crowd, then at the 5 who had finished the course. Only 5. The rest had quit or been carried out. Zorath raised one clawed hand. The hall went completely silent. Graduates, he began. His voice carried clear without shouting. This cycle tested more than bodies. It tested will, strength, heart. Most of you know the numbers. Gravity Hell, Predator Gauntlet, Endurance Crucible, Breaking Point. Each one designed to find the limit, to show who can stand when everything says fall. He paused, looked down at Ji-hoon and Sumin. I told 2 of you they could not do this. I said humans are weak, fragile, not built for Deathworlds. I said they would break first. I said they would beg to leave. I said many things. His yellow eyes met Ji-hoon's, then Sumin's. I was wrong. A low sound moved through the crowd. Not gasps, not laughs, just quiet surprise. Zorath continued. I judged by what I know. Scales, muscle density, toxin resistance, bone strength. All the things my species has. All the things most Deathworld species have. I forgot one thing. The thing no scanner can measure. The thing no simulation can copy perfectly. He stepped closer to the edge of the stage. Refusal. Pure, simple refusal to quit. Humans do not have the strongest bodies here, but they have something else. They remember why they started. They think of home, of people they care about, of promises they made to themselves. When pain comes, they do not just fight it. They push through, because stopping feels worse than hurting. He looked at Kale and Rin. These two Varkons survived because humans carried them. Shared water, shared heat, shared strength when theirs ran out. That is not weakness. That is power my kind sometimes forgets. Zorath turned fully to Jihoon and Sumin. Kim Jihoon, Park Sumin, you passed every test. You set new records in endurance. You showed us what humans really are. Not soft, not breakable, forged on a world that tried to kill you every day for millions of years. Storms, cold, heat, predators, disease. Your planet is a death world, and you were born ready for this. He stepped down from the platform, walked straight to them. The hall watched in silence. Zorath stopped in front of Jihoon first. He placed one large clawed hand on the human's shoulder. Gentle, careful not to press too hard. Recruit Kim Jihoon, you have earned the mark of a Death World survivor. And my respect. He moved to Suming. Same gesture. Recruit Park Suming. The same and more. You laughed when others screamed. You helped when others ran. You proved me wrong with every step. He stepped back. Then he did something no one expected. He knelt, one knee on the floor, so his eyes were level with theirs, a sign of deep honor among Varkon. I was wrong, he said again, this time softer, and I am proud to have been proven wrong by you. He stood up slow. By order of Academy Prime and the Death World Command, I award full graduation honors to Kim Jihoon and Park Suming, and special recognition to the species they represent, humanity. The hall exploded in sound, not just polite claps, real cheers, deep Varkon roars, high Lyran howls, sharp Zarid clicks. Even the visitors joined in. Jihoon and Suming stood still for a moment. Then Jihoon looked at Suming. She looked back. They both smiled. Small, tired, real. Medics brought forward 2 metal cases. Inside were the badges. Small discs of dark metal with a carved symbol. A cracked planet with a fist breaking through. The mark of Deathworld survivor. Zorath pinned one on Jihoon's chest. Then one on Sumin's. You have earned these, he said. Wear them with pride. The cheers continued. After the ceremony, the crowd moved to the outer deck. Big windows showed the gas giant Vexara below. Swirling storms, endless colors. A real death world in space. Jihoon and Sumin stood near the glass. Kale and Rin joined them. Kale spoke first. I hated you at the start. Thought you were weak. Thought you did not belong. He looked down. I was wrong too. Rin nodded. You saved us, carried us, stayed when we could not. We owe you. Jihoon shook his head. No debt, just team. Sumin laughed quietly. Besides, you're not so bad once you stop growling. They all stood quiet for a while, watching the planet turn. Zorath walked up behind them. He did not interrupt at first. Then he spoke low. I added something to the official log, he said. One line, for the next cycles, for the instructors who come after me. He looked at the humans. It says humans do not endure death worlds. They redefine them. Jihoon turned. Thank you, sir. Zorath's mandibles moved in what might have been a smile. No, thank you. He walked away. Sumin looked at Jihoon. We did it. Jihoon nodded. Yeah, we did. They watched the stars, the gas giant, the future. Somewhere out there were more death worlds, more tests, more challenges. But now the galaxy knew. Humans could endure, and sometimes they did more than endure.